Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cool and Beautiful Rabbit Hole, Lore and Fran, the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. So, the Game Awards is coming up. No one cares. I myself am like going into this shocked that like no one's talking about it at all. It's not really a big deal. Even like the host Jeff Keighley seems very unenthusiastic about it. I'm seeing YouTubers complaining. Max Dude is raging at like MK12 confirmed for not being there. Good, because Max really doesn't need more views. You know, I'm still mad at you, Max. So, what the Game Awards though? One of the things that kind of caught my eye, and one of the things I really want to talk about. Well, first of all, I suppose that's the most important thing, is that it feels like the Game Awards isn't a big deal this year. I think people have like gotten tired of it. It's like the same thing over and over again. The meme, the past couple of years has been like, oh, we might get some new trailers, but what game that they've announced at the Game Awards has come out and like been a big deal? Essentially nothing. I've seen people like get hyped over Space Marine 2. That hasn't come out yet. Warhammer 40K is like the dumbest thing in the world. So, I'm glad I'm glad that game hasn't come out. But I'm sick of people pretending like, oh man, Space Marine, Warhammer, it's so hardcore. Oh, I'm so badass because I like this fantasy property. Like, come on, stop! Like, stop! You're embarrassing yourself. I was a big fan of Slitterhead, the game from like a bunch of Silent Hill people. I thought that game looked awesome, and yet we haven't heard anything about it. So I think like we've kind of reached the point where people know what to expect going into the Game Awards, and they are in no way hyped about it. Like, I don't even think Elden Ring fans are like getting excited over like Elden Ring being a shoe in for Game of the Year, because like it's such a given at this point, Like, Elden Ring doesn't deserve Game of the Year, but it's gonna get it in order to give the Game Awards more credibility. And that's that is like important to talk about. Like, the Game Awards isn't really relevant at all. They don't really like critique the games. We have situations where they're putting games in the wrong category. Sifu, like, as best fighting game is hilarious to me. The Game Awards hasn't even started yet. They're kind of embarrassing themselves. But the thing I'm interested in is something that I think is a little bit that's not really talked about among the community. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. I myself have kind of shied away from the topic, even though I've been meaning to talk about this for a long time. That is like Genshin Impact and its like influence over these kind of award shows, and why it always seems to appear when nobody really cares about it at all. And I do think Genshin Impact has been around long enough. People have been talking about it enough. Like, I have a general idea of what it is. Like, I think it's safe to say at this point that Genshin Impact very well might be the most AstroTurf game in history, because I have never seen a game that's allegedly this popular have essentially no one but people who worked on the game like talking about it. You have like the paid shills, people at the Game Awards, you have like YouTubers who did voice work for the game. Where's the actual audience? Like, that's what I want to know for Genshin Impact. Like, who actually plays this piece of shit? Like, the game was confirmed to get a Switch port a while back. We haven't gotten it yet. If the game was like so popular, why isn't it on the most popular home console available, right? Like, if this game is such a big deal, why has it not made the jump to Switch? Like, if this game is like so phenomenally successful, why don't I know anything about it? Why don't I know any of the characters, any of the settings, any of the ideas, like the gameplay loop? Like, what is the game? Even is Genshin Impact? It's remarkable how often the name is talked about, and how often people bring it up, like, that I still don't know. And I think that's kind of true for a lot of other extremely AstroTurf games, stuff like Raid Shadow Legends. In fact, I would say that like Genshin Impact is probably the new Raid Shadow Legends, because it has the same kind of like weird shilling campaign behind it, where the only people who talk about it in any meaningful capacity are YouTubers, right? Where is the actual audience? Where's the actual player base? Like, Raid Shadow Legends became a meme because it was so ridiculous, with like, people talking about like how fun Raid Shadow Legends is right before talking about a game that people actually wanted to see, right? uh, Raid Shadow Legends is just not that good of a game, fundamentally. And honestly, like, looking at Genshin Impact, I don't see anything much different. Like, I don't understand where the appeal would come from, honestly. Like, this game wins all these awards, it gets all this it gets all this like very fake attention. Like you occasionally see like threads on 4chan about it, but as we know, like in the modern era, we're seeing more and more that a lot of these posts are fake. We're seeing a lot more that like these online marketing tools are becoming more and more sophisticated. They're capable of having like actual dialogues with people. They're capable of feigning like a having like a faux argument with each other to kind of like and have like the pro shill side like win and stuff like that. Like, and it's gotten to the point where like I honestly feel like you can't really discuss things on 4chan anymore because there are so many instances where like something desperately needs to be talked about and then it just does not happen. I think a really good example is earlier this year was Cyberpunk 2077, like during the shill campaign for Edge Runners and like that attempt at like trying to salvage CD Projekt Red's reputation. They like for a couple of weeks there they had like wave upon wave of like shills trying to come in like declaring Edge Runners to be like the anime of the year or shit like that. How it somehow saved Cyberpunk, how it like boosted the popularity of the original game, how the original game was fixed now, and how like CD Projekt Red was based for sticking with it. Like it reminded me a lot of like the No Man's Sky thing, but it felt like they didn't have as big of a budget for this kind of campaign because it really didn't stick at all. Like I think No Man's Sky was able to like come off as if it was like somewhat organic, like people like legitimately believed it was true, like in No Man's Sky's case. But because like they didn't stick with it long enough, and because like they were so transparent about it, like there were people who picked up on the fact that it was a shilling campaign. And towards the end of it, they were talking about like, how natural and organic it all was, and how popular the game was. Why aren't people talking about Cyberpunk now? Like it feels like whenever there's a big like new announcement for this stuff, you see like these AstroTurf shills come out of the woodwork to declare the game the best thing ever. Like earlier this year, I saw like Star Ocean 6 get like a lot of praise from like these kind of bots and these kind of shills. And like, the week afterward, nobody was talking about it at all. Like I don't believe some random chick is playing Star Ocean 6. Like I don't even believe like most women know what Star Ocean is. Like I know girls play games, but like Star Ocean is like a mediocre JRPG franchise that had a long history of being like complete trash. Like nobody, I don't believe a girl was playing Star Ocean 6, an attractive girl was playing Star Ocean 6 because I know that nobody was playing Star Ocean 6. Like it's kind of remarkable, I think, the current state of things where like they're getting more and more blatant about their campaigns to market their games, and I think more and more people aren't really acknowledging it. I think what's happening is that people are becoming apathetic. They're not really talking about games online anymore at all. I've seen this in my Discord, I've seen this in my YouTube community section, I've seen this in like my own behavior where like I simply don't obsessively talk about games online because I know that like I'm just going to get shit on by people who are like, you know, who have an agenda or have like some reason to come up against me, right? Or have some financial gain. You kind of seen this in like the commentary community surrounding me, right? Where because of my views as like a Nintendo supremacist, someone who believes that gamers should only play on Nintendo consoles, like you see all these people who will like try and pretend that like I'm insane or that I'm delusional or that like I'm a fanboy. No, like Nintendo has always been like the definitive choice for gamers, and the issue has always been like, unrelated, has always been like, corrupt corporate interest and these like issues related outside of Nintendo, all right? Like it has nothing to do with the company itself, which has always been great, throughout its entire history. It has everything to do with like the wider gaming industry and how they desperately don't want Nintendo to dominate this niche. Right now they're going up against like Sony and Microsoft, like these giant tech conglomerates who have a vested interest in like not allowing Nintendo to dominate in this specific sphere, right? Because it gets in the way of like what they're trying to accomplish. How they're trying to manipulate your behavior and stuff like that. I personally, I the Game Awards, I think every couple of years it goes through this cycle where like people pretend that they fix the problems and that they're going to be better than ever, and then for a couple of years people go along with it and then like eventually implodes. And I wonder it's either going to be this year or next year where we get the next implosion. And like looking at where things are, I think this it might be this year. I think we very well may not get any interesting announcements. I think we're going to get a lot of controversial awards. I think we're going to have a lot of people like saying this is bullshit and that like Jeff really needs to get his shit together. Like this award show was like always doomed to fail, right? Because you can't have a corporate award show given out by people who don't play games. Like that's the reality of it. Is that the audience, gamers, are know a lot objectively know a lot more about games than like the hosts, the developers, whoever the celebrities they tried out on stage. Like the actual audience for this, people who play video games are going to reject God of War Ragnarok if it wins Game of the Year 2022, right? These are the people who will call you out on your bullshit, like putting out Sifu as the best fighting game. Like these like there is no getting through to gamers, especially now that we were becoming increasingly aware of the corruption in the gaming industry. It's becoming like more and more mainstream and more understood that you can't take critics or journalists seriously. And the Game Awards is the reaction to the Game Awards is nothing but a reaction to that, right? A result of that. Like the Game Awards is trash. Nobody takes it seriously. And as a result of that, whenever they promote games like Genshin Impact, nobody's going to care. I don't see Genshin Impact like winning an award for like, I don't know, best ongoing game and then telling myself like, oh man, I'm really missing out by not playing Genshin Impact. No. I boot up my Switch. I play Pokemon. I play Dragon Quest Builders 2. I play all this stuff that you do not talk about because I know it's better. It's more appealing to me. I'm entertained by it. And, it's actually fun, Like, there is no value for me in a game I like getting an award. Like, I remember last year where Metroid Dread actually won an award, shockingly, and I remember that I didn't care at all. And the reason why, I don't like acknowledge Breath of the Wild as game of the, why I don't like care that the Game Awards granted Breath of the Wild the Game of the Year award in 2017 is that it doesn't mean anything. It's an empty, hollow thing. If the Game Awards was genuine, they would be giving every award to a Nintendo game every year. Right? They wouldn't be like trying to they wouldn't be trying this bullshit of pretending to be like a lot less biased than they actually are. They wouldn't be going through these hoops to try and like pretend like they're corporate as fuck. Like they're sponsored by the Chinese, they're complete scum, and you should the audience should overall reject them. Now, am I doing a live reaction to the Game Awards? Yes, I am. So if you're excited to see someone like shit on the Game Awards, please check out my live stream. I will be like doing it live, on Thursday, on the 7th. Oh, wait, no, is it the 7th? No, it's the 8th, isn't it? Yeah, Thursday the 8th. I thought it was the 7th. Yeah, but yeah, it is the 8th. Okay. Yeah, so Thursday the Thursday the 8th of December, we are going to war with Jeff Keighley. None of that like Angry Joe bullshit where like he confronts him once and is just like immediately becomes like a little beta male like simped bitch. Like going we are going to watch the Game Awards. We are going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all the mess ups, all the flubs, all the issues. We are going to be like the gamers that rise up against the Game Awards. Stay tuned.